There's finally an update in the Shanquella Robinson case, although it's probably not going to be exactly what you want to hear. But last Friday, the prosecutor handling this case in Mexico gave a press conference, and at that press conference, he made several important statements.
Finally, an update about Shanquella has been made by the Mexicans, and this has definitely shaken up the Cabo Six because Shanquella is finally going to get the justice she deserves, and they are going to jail.
He is investigating everybody. The Cabo Six, I bet it also includes that doctor who was in the hotel room, but they are still actively investigating this case. Second, he stated that he had asked for the extradition of the person he believes responsible for this death. Daejhanae, we know it's she, but he still didn't identify Daejhanae.
According to the new information, an arrest warrant has been issued for a suspect in Shanquella Robinson's death. As usual, they didn't mention the name, but it's quite clear by now that the main suspect of the Shanquella's case, based on video evidence and the autopsy results, is Daejhanae Jackson, the woman in the brutal video.
Third, he also stated that he had asked U.S. officials for interviews with the Cabo Six.
Then after the main suspect is apprehended, Cabo Six are going to get their interviews, as they are also suspects who have been identified as the people who were around Shanquella as she passed away. Also, they lied about Shanquella's cause of death and were alleged to have messed with the crime scene by changing Shanquella's clothes before the medics arrived.
Nobody has impunity in this case, meaning that he is still investigating. He is investigating everybody. The Cabo Six, I bet it also includes that doctor who was in the hotel room.
Seems like everyone involved with Shanquella will be under investigation until everything is out in the open and Shanquella finally gets justice. From the doctors and the police who wrote fake reports to the friends who allegedly ended her life, the Mexican authority has decided no one is going to get away with what happened on that fateful day. Previous information from a police report says Shanquella Robinson was alive when medical help first arrived at the vacation home in Cabo, Mexico. It also says that a doctor from a local hospital was with Robinson and others in the house for close to 3 hours before she was pronounced dead. But from Shanquella's death certificate, she died within 15 minutes of being injured. It's clear then that the report lied. The doctor most likely knew that she was already gone but continued to administer an IV. Dr. Gutierrez, the doctor the Cabo Six called to check on Shanquella, says she was told Robinson had drunk a lot of alcohol and the medical call was for Robinson to be given an IV. From the police record, the doctor found Shanquella with stable vital signs but dehydrated, unable to communicate verbally, and appearing to be inebriated. The doctor reported that she believed Robinson needed to be transferred to a hospital, but her friends insisted that she be treated in the villa. From Shanquella's battered condition, as a doctor, she should have thoroughly investigated what had happened, instead of giving a dose based on what the Cabo Six were telling her. She attempted an IV but was unsuccessful, and instead of insisting on taking her to the hospital, she stayed there for close to an hour when Robinson began having a seizure. The convulsions from the seizure lasted less than a minute, according to the report. It wasn't until she convulsed that one of her friends, Winter Donovan, called 911 to request an ambulance. We all have to remember that even before they called the doctor, the Cabo Six had the capability of trying to save their friend themselves because two of them work in the medical field. Daejhanae and Alice are both health workers, but they let their friend lose her life without trying to save her. In the meantime, while Winter was calling for an ambulance, Shanquella presented with difficulty breathing and a lowered pulse, and they gave her rescue breaths. The doctor, along with a friend of Shanquella, began administering CPR when she detected Robinson had stopped having a pulse. The entire situation, as written on the report, suggests that it took more than 3 hours before Shanquella passed away. It also lists deceased person, cardiopulmonary arrest, as the reason police were called. Investigations show that within 15 minutes after Shanquella was brutally beaten, she succumbed to her injuries, proving that the police report was fabricated and is filled with lies. Notably, the police information does not mention obvious signs of Robinson's physical injuries, which family members have said existed on her body prior to her burial. Grave injuries to her back and neck were determined to be the cause of death after an autopsy by officials in Mexico. Without the leakage of the brutal video, it would have never been obvious what exactly had happened to Shanquella, and it's alleged that Alice, one of the Cabo Six, was the one who leaked it. The footage shows a naked woman, barely verbal, being hit and punched in the face multiple times by another woman until she falls to the ground. A person not seen in the video is heard saying, "Quella, can you at least fight back?" Instead of helping their friend, the Cabo Six took videos and asked her to fight back. Clearly from the video, Shanquella wasn't a fighter, and when the group saw that, they should have stopped the fight. If that wasn't possible, they should have looked for medical attention for her, but they didn't. Alice must have leaked the video in hopes that the crime could be pointed to one person and not the rest of them, but if that was the case, why doesn't she just tell the truth of what happened? Alice had the chance of saying what had happened to her friend when she was approached by paparazzi who approached her, but instead of taking that chance, she ran away. Robinson's family became suspicious of her friend's claims that she died of alcohol poisoning when her mother received a phone call that there had been a fight in Cabo and her daughter had been injured. From the beginning of the lying drama between the Cabo Six, Shanquella's mom had trusted that because her daughter was traveling with her best friend, Khalil, she was going to be okay. This trust was shattered when she received the autopsy that showed her daughter had died of neck and back injuries while Khalil was lying straight to her face that it was alcohol poisoning. Salamander Robinson, Shanquella's mother, told news outlets that each friend from the trip had a different story and that they even had the guts to go to her house and make arrangements on what they were going to wear to Shanquella's funeral. This must have been so heartbreaking for the mother watching the only people who know what happened to her daughter comfortably lie about it. It's been a while since the Mexican authorities said they were investigating Robinson's death as a possible femicide, and the FBI also followed suit, although they are being secretive about it. Regardless of this new information, it has definitely taken the authorities a long time to be serious about Shanquella's death, but it's about time they did something. Robinson's sister Quilla Lawn has said in a statement published to GoFundMe that the family will continue to investigate what happened and they are raising funds for legal fees. The family even put up different contacts for different authorities for the public to help push for Shanquella's investigation and justice. The page had raised more than $354,422. Hundreds of community members attended Robinson's funeral on November 19th and loved ones wore pink in her honor. Shanquella was being honored by family and friends on her birthday, where they held a balloon release in Charlotte to remember Shanquella Robinson, who would have turned 26. The tribute was held at Beatty Sport Memorial Gardens. Mario Black, founder of Million Youth March in Salisbury and Charlotte, told ABC affiliate that he attended the balloon release to support the family in such an uneasy time. Shanquella's case has broken the hearts of many, from family members, friends to randos on the internet who feel like she deserves justice and the truth, however ugly. Robinson's father Bernard spoke out during an event, saying that after he saw his daughter's body in the funeral home, he just stood there crying like a baby. I sat there and said, "Baby, Daddy will get you justice." He has claimed multiple times that his daughter's death was not accidental but rather premeditated, and so all he wanted was justice. "All I want is justice," Bernard said. "I just want the Mexican authorities, the embassy, to do the right thing, make it right, because they came over there on your soil and did what they did and came back here." The lack of conclusive evidence and conflicting explanations has led to her story going viral, invoking global outcry with countless people closely following Robinson's death. The hashtag Justice for Shanquella has been trending on Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. A fan on Twitter said, "The more I listen to the updates on the Shanquella Robinson case, it just grieves my spirit. When will there ever be an arrest, breakthrough, justice, something?" Another said, "I'm sending prayers to the family of Shanquella Robinson. Every update is more concerning than the last. It truly hurts my spirit to think about the US Gov's cavalier treatment of her case." Anyways, let's not forget that this video is based on theories and my opinions and should not be considered facts. That's it for this video. Bye!